Can I see what catch up? Let's see what happens. I guess it's cool. Yeah. So welcome to 3D Printing Lady Chat. I organize this because I just want to be friends with all of you. And I know Lauren wrote Lauren, you were interviewed somewhere, and in an article you're like, yeah, there's like 6 YouTubers who do 3D printing and also are female, which is insane. There's only 6. And we don't even have all of them right now. So yeah, Cat's got wine or something? So why don't we just start off by introducing everyone? Vicky, why don't you go first?
All right. Hey, greetings, everybody. I'm happy to be here for the first live ladies stream. My name is Vicky Soma. I come from Occoquan, Virginia. I am a software developer by trade. I am a working mom. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old who I'm pretty sure will make cameo appearances throughout this stream. And I have an addiction to 3D printing and 3D modeling. It was a way of extending my creativity. Like I used to do crafting, crocheting, and stitching, and it was just a way for me to make gifts for my loved ones, and now I'm completely addicted. You can find me on my YouTube channel at tgaw3d. It does get a little sparsely updated sometimes because I do craft shows. I have my day job. I have to keep those commitments, and I have my kids, so I need to be a good mom too. But when I get a chance, I do try to put videos up.
Yay, Vicky.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm still muted. Yeah, Heather, why don't you go next?
Okay, so I'm Heather, and this is Ari, and we're from Apyro Design. And what do you want to talk about us? What do? We do 3D printing.
And I craft.
And Ari crafts, yes. So I guess I would be deemed the boss of the 3D Pink Mafia. And the 3D Pink Mafia just kind of started from me loving everything pink. After I had Ari, pink kind of came into my life. And then it has kind of spawned to just really the support of the community, the support of young makers, the support of women in the community mainly, is because it was just such a small demographic when we kind of got started. I personally just started printing within the last 6 months myself. We had a printer. We've had printers for a couple of years, but I had never printed before. I'd never sliced a print before, nothing. And then I got this harebrained idea to do a series called Pick the Pink, where I review a pink filament every day in the month of February. And I had to learn real quick how to do those things. So since then, it's kind of expanded, and we have Ari on our show too. We are deemed a 3D printing family. We all kind of get in the fun, and yeah, that's us. Do you want to say anything else? What do you like about 3D printing? You think about it. We'll let someone else go, okay? Okay.
Barb, did you figure it out? Oh, maybe not. Okay. Lauren, why don't you go next?
Okay, hi guys. My camera apparently has decided to go green because apparently I didn't switch to the right webcam. So I'm sorry. I'm Lauren from Abuzz Designs, and I started 3D printing just about a year and a half ago to, just like with Vicky, kind of help with my crafting projects, but also because I wanted to design a coffee table. So that is still ongoing. It's almost done at this point. So yeah, so that's where I started. And then I also wanted to show people on YouTube how to do the things that I was doing. So how I was designing things, whether it be in Fusion 360 or SketchUp, how I'm finishing things, just in general, how I do what I do so that other people can do it too.
Kat, what time is it right now?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I don't know how to switch the camera now. I think I was running a parallel YouTube. I think the echo came from that side. Yeah, here it's 6 p.m. and yeah, so time-wise, I think this hangout is really good for everybody. And I'm a little bit nervous because it's the first time really to be live with you guys. I just started 3D printing recently in February when I assembled that Delta printer together with Ryan, the 3D printed OSPI. And since then, I've tried lots of things, you know, regarding printing, but I never really made any files for printing. I just downloaded. So I want to get into that next.
Cool. This is Barb, did you get working? She's in here. She's hidden. Okay. Cool. You guys want to talk about like kind of how you got 3D printing and I don't know what your journey has been.
Can you say that again?
Oh, okay. Oh wait. Oh no. Okay. Do you guys kind of want to talk about how you got into 3D printing?
Sure, I'll go first. I've already kind of said that a little bit. Like I said, started 3D printing because I wanted to create a coffee table. I looked into doing other ways, woodworking and other things like that. And unfortunately, it seemed like it wasn't going to be as doable as I wanted it to be. And the next best option was 3D printing. And that was last January that we decided to buy our first 3D printer, which was the FlashForge Creator Pro. And it has been a workhorse of a machine for me at this point to get everything with the coffee table done. And it kind of blossomed from there. I've used it for a lot of crafting projects. Basically any of like the little wooden objects that you can find at a place like Michael's or Joann's, I have been printing and adding to wreaths and things like that so that I don't have to actually go and buy them. Plus I get to customize them. So I've kind of used 3D printing in that way.
Did you want me to go next?
Yeah, I mean, whoever wants to jump in.
Okay. I got in through 3D printing from a very female reason. It was breastfeeding. I had an infant son and I was nursing him. And one of my coworkers started selling those origami owl lockets. Have you guys seen it? The clear lockets, and you buy little charms to put in it. At the time, I was nursing my son, so it was a big part of my days and also a big part of my nights. And that's what I wanted in my locket. And Origami Owl didn't make a little breastfeeding charm. And so that was what motivated me to learn 3D modeling. I did 3D modeling and 3D printing for a year before I owned my own printer. I used a company called Shapeways that was immensely supportive of me and my little fledgling models. But it took me about 3 months to learn Blender and make my first little tiny charm that was based off of the International Symbol of Breastfeeding. And I ordered it from Shapeways. And as soon as I got it, holding that physical manifestation of like what I wanted and I'm holding it in my hand, that was enough to hook me.
Vicki, that's so funny because when Travis first started 3D printing, that was one of the things I was really, really into Origami Owl. And I told him, I was like, you got to be able to print these little charms. We could make so many different ones and it would be so awesome. And in the beginning, he's like, yeah, it's going to be really hard to print them that small. Now going through somewhere like Shapeways and being able to print them out would definitely be doable. But on our home, our home printer wasn't, he's like, I don't think we can do that. Maybe a charm, like a charm bracelet type charm, but not for the little lockets. But anyway, sorry, had to interject because I just think that's so funny.
It's a good illustration of the power of 3D printing, though, that you are not bound to purchase what someone else has decided to mass market. Whatever you want, you have in your power to make it, even if it's through a company like Shapeways.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Okay, what did you say? Sorry, Ari wants to say really quick why she likes 3D printing.
Because there's so many cool designs that you could print.
There's so many cool designs you can print, she said. All right, I'm going. So I got into 3D printing just mainly because it was such a big part of Travis's life. and not to follow in his footsteps, but it was taking up a lot of his time. And so kind of as a default for us to be able to spend more time together, I was like, well, I better kind of get into this because I'm losing my husband quickly to this hobby. So we, you know, and it's very interesting to me. It's the, you know, it's like Ari said, even it's just so amazing how many designs are out there. We still haven't ventured into making our own designs. Ari and I haven't really. I did a little bit with the 3D Block Zoo, but that's kind of where our next venture is going to be. So teaching Ari Tinkercad, so that'll be fun. But yeah, that's how we kind of got into it, and then it's been downhill ever since. Maybe I should say it's been uphill ever since.
And you guys just used 3D printing for the sock hop, right? Ari's sock hop?
We did, yeah. So she had a sock hop at school last night, and I don't have, she wanted a poodle skirt to be able to wear, and we don't have any felt or anything, which the crafting craziness over here, you would think we had a bunch of felt and stuff like that, but we didn't have anything.
Yeah, we didn't have big enough pieces of felt.
We didn't have any big enough pieces to be able to make it. And so Travis is like, we could just 3D print that. That would be really easy. And we did it, whipped it up. It was like 20 minutes and we were good to go with the poodle skirt.
How did you attach it to the skirt real quick? This is a tangent. Sorry, internet.
I actually hot glued it, which was probably not a fabulous idea, but at the points that I hot glued it, I knew I was going to have ribbon over it, so it didn't show on the skirt because we just used PLA, so it did melt it a little bit, but it was covered up, so it didn't matter.
I had seen Matt from How I Make It. I think one of the first projects I saw on his YouTube video was, again, with breastfeeding, bringing breastfeeding back to it. He had a little onesie for his baby that said, "I want to suck your boob," from like Halloween. And I think, if I recall, I think he ironed it on. And
yeah, that would work.
Unrelated, what is the best glue for PLA? Because I just use super glue.
Lauren,
I also use
on this.
I actually did a full test on that for the coffee table, and regular super glue will work really well for most applications, but if you are wanting something that's super, super strong, of everything that I tried, a 2-part epoxy was the best. But like the gel Loctite was almost as good, and the Gorilla Super Glue was right up there too. So those were the top 3.
Okay, yeah, because I've been using Gorilla Super Glue, but I'm like, the next thing's gonna be the epoxy, which I don't know if I want to get into. That's kind of.
It was actually a lot easier than I expected it to be. I went in expecting it to be incredibly difficult to work with, and I mean there was some nuances that you learned rather quickly, but it actually was pretty easy. Don't be scared away by it.
And I haven't done extensive testing, but for my stuff, and I do things for craft fairs, for wreaths where I'm gluing birds. I grabbed one, like if I'm gluing a bird on a wreath, I use a low temperature hot glue gun. Magnets, I'm using super glue. And wine stoppers, I'm using something called Goop. I just, stuff that my mom has around the house, it works, and I just go with what works.
Kat, why don't you talk about how you got into 3D printing?
My day job is a dental technician, so at home I was getting interested in making my own jewelry, so I've funded a small SLA printer called M Jewelry on Kickstarter. I'm still waiting for it. I don't know when it's going to arrive, so I couldn't wait. I just wanted to start 3D printing, yeah. And then I tumbled into Twitter and I found all you awesome guys, and then Ryan said, "Oh, I'm going to buy a Delta printer," and I like the Delta Star printer, so I told him, okay, I want to join you. Let's do that together. Let's build the printer together. And so that's how I tumbled into 3D printing. Yeah, and by the way, here, Cheerio, I opened up a bottle of champagne because, I think this is a revolution that we're into here, we ladies, because I think we're kind of pioneers, and I'm celebrating. Okay, so, and yeah, I think I'm going to do, beside the SLA printing, I'm also going to do some other stuff. But as I said, I have to learn the modeling and the creation. So I would love to learn Blender, but I think it's quite complicated.
It did have a learning curve, but now that I have it, it's, you know, one of my go-to tool for modeling.
Yeah, weren't you like, oh, it just casually took me 3 months to learn Blender?
Well, I'm still learning. I'm still learning little things. And just recently I was doing a model. Blender is animation software too.
Yeah.
And I was using a function that's geared for doing hair and smoke and dust and animations, but it was something that I was able to leverage to make flowers on a model that I was
I see we have a new face in here. Mara, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Mara, and I work at Matter Hackers. And I'm happy to be here. I'm actually on the road. My folks are driving. We are going from vacation. I've been on vacation for the last week in Delaware, and so heading back to Long Island. And with a long drive ahead, so I'm happy for the company.
Mara, do you want to talk about how you got into 3D printing and started working for Matter Hackers?
Sure. Let's see. I got into 3D printing because I saw it on a TV show. Probably 4 years ago now, 3.5 years ago. I saw it on an episode of Elementary, and I just thought it looked interesting. And I'd been working in advertising for many, many years and hated it and was looking for a different career. And I just got really inspired by the creative uses of 3D printing. I had never really thought about the fact that people make things. It just kind of never occurred to me. I never grew up with like a lot of computers. I'm not an engineer. I just got caught up in the creativity of it, and took myself to a trade show up in Seattle and met all sorts of people, including Matter Hackers, and kind of kept hounding them until they gave me a job. And so I've been director of business development there for the past 2 years. And one of the most fun things has been really working with the YouTube community and all of you amazing makers and creative people, and really seeing what you're doing with the technology and being able to support you with machines and materials and ideas, and also working with schools, working with the teachers and with the kids to see how they're using it to literally change the way that the next generation is learning, and making it much more engaging. So that's been really, really fun.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Yay!
You made
I
it.
have a box of all kinds of old computer stuff, and so I whoops, I found an old camera.
Yay.
Okay, so how did I get into 3D printing? As a software developer, I've been a software developer for a long time, and I was getting tired of sitting at my desk, 8 hours a day working on the programming. And I sold PCs in the early 80s. I had a computer store right out of college with my girlfriend, and I went to a business show and I saw a 3D printer, and I got sucked right in as soon as I saw the printer. I'm like, oh, this is just like PCs were in the 80s, not one main brand is, there's like 100 different 3D printers out there now. So there wasn't, and the same thing with PCs early on, before you had the IBMs and the Apples kind of take over the market. So I thought, I'm going to sell 3D printers. And what better way to learn about 3D printing was to buy one. So I bought a kit one, and I thought, it would be like 4 or 5 pieces to plug together. And it was this, 80 pieces, whatever. I actually ended up paying the guy to put it together for me because it was too overwhelming. I didn't have a soldering iron at the time, and you needed that. And so that was my start into 3D printing. And then I quickly realized that probably selling printers wasn't the greatest thing for me. And I had one big spool of black PLA and one big spool of white ABS. And I go to my friend, what do you want me to make you? And he goes, a phone case. And so then I ended up with another spool of black flexible filament. And I got tired of printing in black and white and thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to get different colors? And I just kind of fell into the idea of selling the sample sizes. So I sell sample sizes of 3D printing filament.
And you are awesome for it.
So I print, that's what I do. I print, you know, stuff all the time.
I think it's interesting that you did software development and Vicki did software development. And right now I'm studying software development. So it's weird that those kind of meet each other, I guess.
Yeah. It's a great career. I mean, there's, you know, it's wide open. And it used to be, it wasn't specialized. You know, you were a computer programmer, but now you're either like you specialize in, you know, security or the, you know, IT infrastructure or applications, so, or websites. So it's come a long way.
Yeah.
As will 3D printers.
It's weird because I feel like right now I've kind of gotten into this at a time where it's still at its infancy, and I'm still pretty young, so I'm interested to see how far, like people talk about like, oh, everyone's gonna have a 3D printer in their house, and whenever they need anything, they're just gonna 3D print something. And I'm interested to see if that is where it goes, or it's always kind of this niche thing or not.
I think it will. I was just looking at chocolate printer the other day. Boy, that looked good.
I so want to try one of those, like so bad. After working in pastries for a while, I want to, and I love tempering chocolate. I want to use one so bad.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm glad I could join.
Let everybody be yours.
Okay, I am Molly from Neoport and I'm 3D printing if you did not know.
Molly, how did you get into 3D printing?
Oh, I got started when my dad got a 3D printer. It was like really cool. It was like, I think he won it in like a contest, and we just began to 3D print, and we started our channel. Yeah.
I was going to say, you're talking about the chocolate printer. What printer do you want?
Candy.
She wants the candy printer. Oh, so bad. So we'll have to hit up Joel and see if...
I actually asked my niece about it in New York State because she works for the health department. You know, and I mean, in order to really make and sell chocolates, it's almost like you have to be like restaurant certified. You have to have a clean room and all that, which makes sense.
Well, yeah, and even the candy printer, I think when Joel did his little review of it, I think he was saying it's like $30,000. You know, it's more for a restaurant environment just to add things to existing items.
I didn't know there was such thing as like a candy or chocolate printer. I've never heard of that. That's cool.
They are so cool. You have to look them up.
I will. If I can eat it, I would definitely do that, but I kind of doubt you would be able to eat a chocolate 3D printer.
Vicky's just trying to eat a piece of chocolate right now.
Not to keep plugging Matt from How I Make It, but I believe one of his projects that he's looking for in the future is trying to build a more economic candy printer.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
That would be awesome. I would also like to see you be able to use hard candy with it, not just gummy candy.
I guess you could just kind of go with a soft serve ice cream, and that's like the original ice cream 3D printer, no?
Yes.
For the Cheese Whiz printer?
Cheese Whiz, definitely.
That was hilarious.
Okay, who wants to mock up their printer to be able to print with Cheese Whiz now?
That'd be so cool. I'd be like, I just want to eat my 3D printer with the stuff coming out of it.
I had a brass-filled disaster this week, so I think I'm going to stick with the filaments I'm familiar with for the next few weeks, and well, stay away from the cheese whiz for a little bit.
That could get messy.
If you have
What's what's the favorite projects that people have made? Well, Lauren's is probably the coffee table. What's your most favorite 3D printing project?
I made. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I think we're actually in the middle of what project. I mean, my current favorite project is the design challenge that we did last year. Matter Hackers and Pinshape and Ultimaker, and envisioning the future. Enablingafuture.org, where we challenged everybody to make assistive devices for people that have problems with their hands, like my best friend Brandy, who had very limited use of her hands due to Dupuytren's contracture. And we got over 200 people involved in designing new assistive devices, and they're still available for free for anybody to download and print, which is a great option for schools that are looking for something to print with their printer that can participate in the community, printing for their local hospitals and things. And so actually Monday is the last day for our latest challenge, which is to 3D print tactile models for the visually impaired for schools, for kids that are blind, and really utilizing the technology where it is right now to really help with schools that need tactile models, whether it's for the visually impaired or just for tactile learners. So I just love kind of the community giving back that Enable started with. That thought that the community can use their printers for good, even if you're not a designer, you can still use your printer to make things to give back to the to your local community, which I think is one of the best things that has come out of 3D printing in the past couple of years. Your turn.
Oh.
Go for it.
Who's going? I can go, but I don't have a very good answer. Oh, you go, Molly.
Okay, so I have to say that my favorite project that I ever did was last year at my, well, not last year, like at my old school, I made like this dragon, like this green printed dragon. It was like really cool. I think it was called Aria. I sold it to one of my friends, but it was like so cool because like I learned about it, and then I was like, the way it was built was like perfect, so it was like awesome because I just like to look at it all day. And then my second list of fidget spinners we have been 3D printing.
Oh, sure.
Oh my gosh.
I made a purse.
Oh,
That's
cool!
awesome.
That's awesome.
And what I liked about this purse was that you had to sew it together. So the way that they did the seams here, can you see the seams?
Oh, it like snaps together?
It's kind of like a tongue and groove thing.
Oh, that thing. You like put it together like a zipper?
Yeah,
Oh,
so that was, you kind of sew it together. So
Did that was that model on somewhere, or did you design that, Barb?
this one is on Thingiverse. There's a Dragon Mountain design, and he has a daughter, and he designs these pretty cool things for his daughter. So this was one of the things he made. He designed the purse for his daughter. So this was one of my fun ones, just because I thought it was pretty clever how they did the sewing part, and even how the straps fit in is pretty clever too. So
I can't really tell, but like, is it made out of flexible filament, or is it just like Like, I can't really tell, but it's like just straight, or is it flexible?
Yeah, it is flexible. I think the tongue and groove thing would be hard to do if
It looks really
if it was not made out of flexible.
As somebody, the Flexi Filament
You
Queen.
had to press on it. So here you go. So
What filament did you use?
this was made out of Cheetah and Ninja Flex. So that's the tongue and groove thing I was trying to show how it works there. So
That's really cool.
Yes,
So-
I need one now.
there. Sorry about
I
that.
can make myself do this.
And so it was just all these pieces that were pretty easy to print because they're flat, little flat, thin pieces, and then you just kind of sewed them all together and made a purse. So that's.
I'm printing one this afternoon. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's called the Z purse.
Okay.
And
I would say, although you would think my coffee table was probably my favorite project, it actually wasn't. My favorite project was actually the charm that I printed for my mom, and I actually had it cast over at Shapeways, like Vicki was talking about earlier. My mom drew this heart, and it's actually in my logo now, but my mom drew this heart one day, and we both loved it and got it tattooed on ourselves. And I thought it would be really cool to turn that into a charm for her Pandora bracelet. So I 3D modeled it, and then I had it cast over at Shapeways, and it made for a really, really unique gift. And it kind of is just one of my favorite projects that I've ever done because it has a lot of meaning to it.
A 3D printed heart charm, that's like really cool. If I could do like a butterfly or another heart, that would be like awesome.
You should. You totally should.
And like it's to connect it to like a necklace or something, it'd be even better.
Yep.
I have a question for all you people. How did you guys get into 3D printing?
You're a little late. We went over that. I don't know if we want to rehash it or if you want to rewatch a little later.
I'll rewatch it later.
You know what I think is pretty cool though is all the people from around the world that I do a lot of social media stuff, and I'm just I'm pretty amazed, like Naomi Wu and some of these other people, but just all the people from around the world. It's been a way for me to it's a cool hobby in that regard because you can and around the country. That's one thing I think.
Yeah, it's such a pity that Naomi somehow cannot join in. I would love to see and hear her in person, I think she's amazing.
Yeah, apparently she has really poor internet connection because there was a conversation about that on a different live stream.
So I have a question for everybody. Who is your inspiration when it comes to 3D printing, or has anybody in particular inspired you?
My dad. My dad.
You, Lauren, you inspired me.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people, not anyone in particular. I think the guys that are and gals that are printing stuff for drones, it touches a lot of hobbies. I think the people that are doing drones are really cool. The people that are doing cosplay are really cool. The people that are prototyping things for their job, architect models you see, some of the educational stuff. I think that's what makes it cool. Is it's just, and you know, anytime you show anybody anything that or talk about 3D printing, your audience is like, oh, wow. So
Speaking of drones, actually, my dad, when he used to play around with his drone a lot, he used to try and 3D print wings out for it, or like helicopter things. I forgot what they're called, but like he would try and do that to fix the drone because one time it broke.
Yeah, some of my friends are trying to build a drone right now with 3D printed parts, and it's very interesting. They're pretty cool.
I think it's tricky because of I mean, it has to be all balanced and everything. You can't have one side be heavier than the other. You know, to get it to actually fly.
I think for me, what inspires me mainly is just the idea of getting kids more involved with technology. You know, computers have been around for so long. That used to be the big thing, like, oh, let's introduce kids to computers. Now it's kind of like, I mean, that's like old hat. Kids already have computers and phones and tablets and all of that. So I think it's a new way to get young makers into technology as a whole, because without technology, I mean, you're kind of behind the curve, I feel like. So I think it's neat, and to see kids, especially to see a kid design something and then to print that for them and have a tangible item of something that they printed. I mean, that's just insane to be able to, their faces when you see that is just so cool. So Travis and I are going to be working to develop a 3D printing after school program at RE school. So, you know, to run for kids from kindergarten to 5th grade, to be able to just kind of teach them and introduce them to 3D printing. I was excited. They had an event at RE school, a STEM event, where they had all different kinds of technology, and they actually had a 3D printer there. And she's like, my daddy has 3D printers. I don't need to be at this station. But it was cool. So that's really kind of my inspiration, and plus it's fun. You get to make cool stuff.
It's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough to work with a lot of schools and teachers when they're first getting their 3D printers, and I get inspired every day seeing what they do with them, because a lot of these teachers, they're not makers, or they don't see themselves as makers. They don't see themselves as tech people. I have one of my favorite, most inspiring people that I've worked with is an English teacher that works with special ed kids. And she just took it on, and she saw that there was a potential to make what she was teaching in English and writing and speaking more engaging by using a 3D printer, even though she didn't really know how she was going to do it. And she just took it on, and to see what her kids were able to, when they had access to 3D design software and the 3D printers, to literally take the things that are in their imagination that sometimes they can't even speak about or write about. They just don't have those skills, but they can design it and then 3D print it and then hold it in their hands. It's just absolutely amazing to see these teachers kind of overcoming their fear and their trepidation and getting on the learning curve for 3D printing and making it happen for their kids, and being able to see how, I mean, even kindergarten, 2nd grade, 4th grade, they're now 3D designing and printing the stuff that when I was a kid we used like paper mache and popsicle sticks, and like that was fine, but these are skills that they're now going to be able to use moving forward to maybe 3D model and print the next, you know, prototypes for products that we can't even imagine yet. And for them, it's just going to be native thought, because they've been doing it since they were in 2nd grade. Like, well, what did you do? What do you mean you didn't grow up with a 3D printer? How did you make things? So I'm just really, really excited to see what happens in the next few years as they really get command of this technology. That's what inspires me.
Yeah, there's something super powerful about making a thing on the computer, like designing it, and then it comes out and you're like, yes, this is the thing. It exists in real life now. Like, that's what I like most about 3D printing. Like, just that process alone, I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah,
I think it makes you more analytical too. You tend to like look at things. At least for me, I can't remember what it was just something yesterday that was broken around the house, and I looked at it and I kind of took it apart like you would take something apart for a 3D model, and then, you know, figured it out and fixed it. So it does. It's a good thought process to learn how to do this kind of stuff. More spatially oriented than, let's say, like pens and paper.
I think, like Mara said, yeah, it stimulates.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to chime in and agree with Barb that you start looking at your whole world a different way. And the example that came to mind is the 3D printing group on Facebook was doing a Nerf gun design challenge. And I didn't enter, but I had some ideas that were floating in my head. And suddenly I'm at the gym and I'm just watching all the joints on the weight machine and how, you know, the pulleys are working. And I'm like, how can I apply this to my Nerf gun? So you just you see the whole world in a different way.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was going to mention something from the chat. Sorry. Tinkering Corner said that they study engineering, or they study engineering, and there's not a lot of women involved. Many classes are 98% men, and they think it's because women are not encouraged to join the field. And that's why we're here to say women can do it too.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel. I never wanted to go online, you know, me being on video for everybody to look at. But yeah, that was one of the reasons I started, just to show that we women are capable of doing so, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too, Kat. I had no idea that there were other women YouTube channels when I started mine. I just wanted to be a female voice in the mix. And as soon as I joined, all of a sudden I found a Sparky Face 5, you know, so joining YouTube, you find that the community is huge.
Yeah, that's why I started my YouTube channel, because I do like lots of video stuff on the side, and I'd been learning about 3D printing, and I legitimately could not find any women videos. Like, it was like I would Google like 3D printing with women, and there would be I just like couldn't find any women who were making videos. My friend's like, well, why don't you make videos? Like, you know how to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. And then obviously there are people, and now you're all here.
I changed my microphone. Is it better now?
Yes, sounds good.
Sounds
okay.
Very good.
Good. Yeah, because I changed over to the computer mic. I changed it from the webcam. It was not good.
Molly, I have a question. Do you guys have anything with 3D printing or other technologies like that at your school?
I've heard of the STEM festival at our school, but I don't actually know if it was at our school. We've never actually talked about 3D printing at our school, so I don't really understand, because it would be awesome for the other kids to learn about it, not just me and other kids at our school, because I have another friend who does 3D printing, but I wish I knew about it because it's such an amazing topic.
You better tell your dad to get on that.
Yeah, we got to tell the principal about this.
How so is it the fidget spinner at your school? Is that a craze? I mean, are you selling a lot of them, or?
I am going to be selling them to some of my classmates and some of my friends in the neighborhood. I haven't done any at school yet, but almost everybody in my class has like a real fidget spinner, but nobody else I know of except my friend, of course, in 4th grade does 3D printing fidget spinners and sells them. It's a big craze.
Oh yeah, I saw actually in the mall, our local mall. There's the guy had a little kiosk and he was selling fidget spinners for $8.99, and it was the kind of the standard one. So he said, yeah, he'll be here for a few more weeks anyways.
There's a good question in the chat, probably for anyone, saying, do you think that being a woman has slowed you down or limited your ability to share and educate on the topic of 3D printing?
That's just plain wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like actually we stand out a little bit more. I think it actually helps me in my business. That's why I use my name in my tagline, you know, Barb_3D print NY, because I think people like, oh, there's a woman in 3D printing, and so they remember it. So for me, I think it's helped.
And plus, it may influence other women in the future.
Yes, that's for sure. That's really for sure. Yeah.
I agree. I have not found any resistance. I think I've heard of a lot of women that, so I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist. But when I first started at Matter Hackers, for instance, there was only 3 women, I think maybe 4. So a lot of men, and I found nothing but people being accepting and welcoming. And I did the same thing as when I chose my Twitter handle, 3DP Girl, you know, specifically because I wanted to just be myself and who I am out there, and hopefully have that available to inspire other women to check it out and not feel like they have to hide the fact that they're a woman. I haven't found any resistance whatsoever.
You know, I never.
That's a very good.
Go ahead.
That's a very good position to put yourself in to prove that you can do stuff like that.
Thank you.
I actually never really found that in computer programming either that much, because it was in such high demand to have programmers. So, and I think with a little bit with the 3D printing that when I tell people who, like, sometimes my customers are, I do say it tends to be people that like to tinker around. Maybe I like it because I like to garden, and so that involves tinkering and you're creating things. So so I think maybe guys get into it a little bit more because they tinker on their cars more, you know, or they're, again, with the drones, they're mostly guys. I guess that's not really addressing the question of have you had a problem with it, but anyways, I've never had a problem.
Yeah, I think that when I started my channel, it helped that I was a girl, because people were like, oh, it's like a young girl making maker videos. We don't have this. We're going to like try and promote this. And that was crazy. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
There's not more women into 3D printing because there's so many like craft applications. And I feel like, you know, 3D modeling isn't a thing that's like exclusively male, and that's a lot of it.
I think it helps that you're awesome. That's why everyone wants to follow you.
Yeah.
And that humor,
Whether
the
you're
humor
male
in
or
your
female,
videos got me instantly.
you just have to be talented at with what you're doing and passionate about what you're doing. With 3D printing, I feel like everybody has an access point. If it's not the actual 3D modeling, or the putting together the computers, if you're not putting together the printers, if you're not mechanically inclined. Like for me, I'm a creative person. I'm a singer. I'm a musician. So what I connected to was the ability to create something. And then, yeah, you got to learn some software, and you got to learn how to use a machine to do it. But the access point wasn't the technology itself, but what you're going to use the technology for. For women or men, for anybody that wants to get into 3D printing, again, it just goes back to that why. Why you need a 3D printer? What are you going to do with it? Making costumes and props, or it's making prototyping products that you have an idea in your head for. Making fidget spinners. I still wear the 3D printed ring, my kitty ring. The first thing that I ever printed. Yep, kitty rings unite. Because it just reminds me of like, it could be something as simple as this, whatever your access point is, whatever you find that you can't get somewhere else, but you can get with 3D printing is what's going to get you getting good at printing and getting good at what you do.
I was testing metal filaments yesterday, so I printed a bunch of those little rings that, what's the,
Hey,
I'm not sure how to say it. Yeah.
Oh, so cute. I also have to print one because I love cats. Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh, cute.
Silk? Flowisilk, right? Is how you say his name?
I think
Holistic.
Flowistic. Yeah, it makes great designs. Very.
yeah.
It can also be used as weapons.
Hmm.
Something.
One of my friends
Just try.
3D printed brass knuckles because she wanted them. I mean, they're plastic, but
Oh, it's so cool. Gotta make a cat ring. Not that I don't just love cats and dogs. I love every type of animal. But I would love to make a cat ring because cats are just plain catty.
Well, Molly Flowlistic has a bunch of different animals. You should check it out. Check out his Thingiverse profile. He has antlers. He has cat ears. He has all different ones.
Bunny ears. Yeah,
Bunny
I
ears.
usually keep a little bag of these in my purse. And if I'm out like in a store or something and someone says, "Oh, I really like your ring," so I say, "Oh, it's 3D printed. You can, if it fits, you can have it." Because I have as many as I want. I have a whole bag here. And I have different sizes on me too. So it kind of helps to, it's my little way of spreading the word through cat rings. So yes, thank you, Holistic, for your awesome model.
So someone, Tinkering Corner was asking in the chat if anyone has had or been the victim of basically of trolling, attack due to being a woman in the profession or in the community. And I think, with anything, trolls are going to be trolls. I've been attacked before, not badly, but enough. And, I think it is what it is. It's not anything about what I do or why I do what I do. It's not, like, oh, you're a woman, you can't do that technology. It's more on appearance or whatever. And so that is, it is what it is.
I had a troll attack on Words with Friends, but and it sucked me in a little bit because I didn't realize it right off. But, sometimes I've had people make a comment, but the best thing with that is you just ignore it. And then that renders the troll helpless. So
I don't think I've ever got trolled in 3D printing because I've never been really attacked in the comment section, but I've been attacked in online video games.
I have to say I've been pretty lucky. I've actually only had 1 or 2 troll occurrences, and none of them attacked me for being a woman or attacked me as a person. They attacked the material itself, what I was explaining or showing. So I've been lucky that I personally have not been attacked. But I do know people who have, and it shouldn't happen no matter what.
It can really hurt someone's feelings, I bet.
True story, it can.
Yeah, I think that's trolls. I mean, if anybody's watched, Joel's feed or Barnacles' feed, I mean, these guys get attacked all the time. Cowards that won't put themselves out there for something that's authentic. They're just going to try and tear other people down. And you know what? We've all been dealing with that since, grade school in the courtyard. And you just have to treat them the same as you did then. Just either ignore them or...
One thing I will say, this 3D printing community is so supportive and so great and so embracing. I do have to thank you guys because you gave me this nice little foundation. When I finally did get a troll on my YouTube channel, it was easy to move past it and to look past it because I had that foundation of support and friendliness from you guys. So I think our community overall is very, very supportive. So it gives us all the ammunition we need to ignore the trolls.
Yeah, Tessa says her biggest thing is when it comes to possibly obtaining review items, that she finds that it's hard, but other than that, it hasn't really affected her. She's had trolls, on her appearance or whatever, but I think that that's kind of comes with the territory of being online. Unfortunately, there's always going to be someone out there that, yeah, like Mara said, they're not confident enough to put themselves out there, so they have to try to tear somebody else down. But I think that that's a hurdle that we're kind of overcoming, hopefully. I feel like as far as review items or or people taking reviews seriously from women, especially when it's coming to like filament. I mean, Lauren has done a ton of filament reviews, and it's amazing to hear, you know, especially to the types of things that you're printing with it may be different than what a male gender would bring to the table or whatever. So I think that that's a, you know, hopefully something that we're starting to overcome. And sorry, I'm speaking for Tessa. She's your simple little man, so she's just in the chat right now.
Yeah, I was super like happy when I tweeted like, hey guys, we should have this chat session, and everyone was like, yes, we want this, we need this, let's do it, let's make it happen. And just like that amount of support, I was like, this is fantastic.
She was saying something about, you know, women print something different, and I was like, so I had to grab my little flower coasters I was working on because, you know, as a woman, I tend to print a lot of kitchen stuff. So,
They're cool. You tell me that the guys don't think that that stuff's useful too. My husband loves that kind of stuff. He's like, oh, this is so much better. How come we didn't have this before? Oh, Clayton says, what printer do you wish you had?
I kind of want a Form 2. I kind of do. Last year, my sales, I'm a baby. This is a side business. Don't laugh at me, Barb. It's just a side business. But when my sales hit past the 4,000 mark, I'm like, ooh, I could buy a Form 2. But then, you know, I'm also cheap, so I never actually ordered it. I also don't know if I want to learn about all the cleanup and everything like that. But every now and then I see them, and I'm just, I might want that. A powder printer. Like, I would love that too. So yeah.
What's a powder?
Let's printer. These are awesome. You don't have to worry about your overhangs or supports. The way the printer works is it lays down a bed of powder, and the printer is using laser to center where it's going to be your object to harden it. And then it'll come back, you know, put more powder and do the next level, more powder, next level. And then when it's done, they call the process excavating it. They're actually like digging it out of a big block of powder. They're getting your object out. So yeah, that's how I got started with the Shapeways. So when I got my normal printer, I had to start, you know, thinking in terms of like overhangs and how am I going to print this, you know?
I want a powder printer now.
Yeah, they're extremely expensive. Yeah, this is the pity.
I have a little spot.
Tens of thousands.
In my dreams, then.
And I want a big one. I would want to get a Taz 6. You know, because that also does so I was happy with the brand and what I have, so I wanted to just get a bigger one. There's some big things that would be fun to print that you know, like big pots, and I don't know, maybe one of those cosplay masks, or that you can't do so much with a little printer.
I can't wait till my dad finishes building his D-Bot, because we really want to do that hairy lion challenge that Joel did. It's like, I want a big, fat, hairy lion. And then also we saw his hairy unicorn, so I'm like, I also want a hairy unicorn, Dad. Please.
Tessa,
I really want a large format printer as well, and also an SLA printer. I've got so many jewelry things that I would love to make, but I just can't get the detail that I want out of the current printers I have. So I want to be able to print really itty bitty tiny and then really, really big.
Well, it's always going to be mistakes.
It's a pity that I don't live over in the US. Otherwise, I could print the stuff for you once I got this jewelry. And then I could send it to you, but I don't know if it makes so much sense to send it from here where I live over to the US. Might be too expensive.
Where do you live?
You know, I live in a very itsy bitsy teeny weeny country called Liechtenstein. It's between Austria and Switzerland. You can look on Google Maps. It's really, really tiny, just like Monaco, yeah, for instance, very, very small. But originally I'm from Germany. Have you heard about Germany?
Yes, I've heard about it in class, obviously, about all that past stuff that was really, really bad.
Yeah, that was really bad.
And also because my grandpa, I'm pretty sure he actually learns, like, when he I'm pretty sure he visited Germany, and he was like perfectly fluent in it. I don't know if he is anymore.
Ah,
But
okay.
my dad also learned how to talk German a little bit, like in like numbers, like I think like from 1 to 20. So yeah, I've heard of German.
Okay.
Tessa said in the chat, and I agree with her, resin printers. Those are they have it's the resin and the light, right? Is that what you're
Hey,
talking about?
Molly, the chat. Oops.
Yes. Yes.
The chat thinks you and I should team up and do some collaborations together.
Yes, I want to do that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, Claire, the resin printers are like the SLA where it's the liquid and the light. That's what that is.
Okay, is that what Lauren was talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the Form 2.
Yeah, and I think the powder printers are called SLS printers.
So yeah, I think the consensus is go big or go home, right? Everyone wants a big format printer. So we have another question. Nick says, members of the community planning to use the influence that you have to encourage or market other women to get interested in the STEM fields. And how are you going to do that? And I kind of talked about, Travis and I are working on a curriculum for getting into the schools, into RE schools. So that directly affects us. And then, you know, hopefully maybe, I know Mara has a lot of connections within the education field. Ultimaker has some amazing resources. They have full-on curriculums and things like that for different printers and just in general 3D printing curriculum, which is really cool, and that's all available for free. So that's how we're going to trying to encourage it. So
I did a couple of road shows where I would pack my printer up in a box, and I organized it with, they actually happened to be private Catholic schools. I don't know if they had more leeway with having somebody come in, and they set me up in the library and then in a classroom, and I did like a 20-minute, 10-minute talk on what's 3D printing. And then I brought my box of failed prints and other prints, and you know, as soon as, you know, they're kind of sitting there, okay, boring lecture. And then as soon as I pulled out my box of toys, they instantly got sucked into it. And so, you know, I almost think it's a little tiresome because I did that for a full day. So I would do a class after class after class, and then afterwards they would see like a little 3D thing being printed. But even to send goodie boxes of 3D printed objects to schools would probably pique some of the kids' interest. I don't know if schools have that. I know MakerBot had some kind of kit that they had that they would send to schools.
I hope that I get good enough in 3D printing one day that I can teach, because my day job is teaching dental technicians, so I am already a teacher, but in a different field, and I love teaching, and 3D printing would be really cool if I could do that one day, but it's a long way to go. I'm at the beginning, yeah, still.
Lauren, you're up, since the question was from your husband.
Surprised.
Oh,
I missed the question because I had to run out really quick. So what was the question? Sorry, sweets.
Nick asked how you would use your knowledge and your influence, like how do you want to influence getting more kids into STEM, or now I'm trying to find it. But that was
okay.
the
I
gist.
can answer that question. So far, I've already, a lot of my coworkers have kids who are in school, and I've already brought in prints so that they could show their kids. A local high school here has now a 3D printing class as part of their curriculum. And her daughter was not sure if she wanted to do that or take a different class. So I sat down with her, talked with her about 3D printing, brought in some failed prints and some completed prints and was able to kind of go through and show her the process. I showed her some of the YouTube videos. So anything to try and get them inspired and excited. Same thing with my niece and nephew. My nephew's only 3, but I had him jump on Tinkercad with me, and he was helping me design something, pointing out where he wanted things to go in different shapes. And although he's 3 and doesn't quite understand, he was still having a whole lot of fun doing it. And then I actually printed it out, and I'm going to send it to him, so now he can see what he actually designed in real life. And I think anytime you can do that with kids, it's going to inspire them to possibly get into the field.
I have a Tinkercad account. I've never tried to do one of the lessons but I think I should try and do it because it was really confusing at first, but now that my dad's used it and now that he's actually beginning to design fidget spinners, I guess I should try it out.
You should. Actually, the Tinkercad little tutorials that they do are really helpful to help you figure out where to start with Tinkercad.
That's good because my dad used all of them, and I'm pretty sure he made the maker coin in that. Either that or he used Onshape. I think he used Onshape.
That's all I use is Tinkercad, and it works pretty well for me. So it's about my speed.
Yeah, I've just been using Tinkercad for everything, and I think at this point I really need to start pushing and learn Fusion 360 or SolidWorks or something more. But yeah, I haven't reached the limitations of the software yet, which is it's pretty powerful.
Mara, I want you to talk about your influence, your ability to influence in STEM and stuff like that with Matter Hackers.
Honestly, what I was going to say about teaching, you don't need to be, even if you don't feel like you're ready to teach 3D printing or to go and speak at, say, a local library or a school, if you just bring your passion for it and just start talking about it. I've heard all of y'all talk about your passion for 3D printing, and there is nobody on this planet of any age that's not going to be moved and inspired by your story and what you think is interesting and what you think is important about 3D printing, even if you just have the most beginner skills. With Matter Hackers, it's been awesome being able to go into schools and do professional development with teachers, but then also actually speak to the kids. But really talking to the teachers has been great because you just go in and tell stories about how other schools are using 3D printing and what projects they're doing and what core curriculum, how their 3D printers should bring core curriculum that they have to print it, that they have to teach anyway. And then the creativity starts going and they say, oh, I could use it for, we were demonstrating 3D printing pens, for example, at a conference for teachers. And we were just drawing little rings or doing little, projects. And it was St. Patrick's Day we were making. And one of the teachers was like, oh, I could use this for geography class. And we could have everybody draw a state. Pick this, take the states up and then make a map on the floor. So that and then of course we all tried to draw the state that we came from, and I drew California backwards, but that's a whole other story. Once the students and the teachers get the technology in their hands, the imagination just goes crazy. Constellations were another idea that came out of using 3D printing pens. You have an opportunity locally to speak at any sort of school or a library or a youth center, just go and do it. There's no being ready. If you're on this stream or you're watching this stream, you are ready to bring this technology and your passion for it out to the public. And we need it. We need everybody to just be out there and helping people find those access points that we spoke about earlier, helping them find what 3D printing can do for them and how 3D printing can enhance hobby or their classroom.
Yeah, I think having women in 3D printing is important for only the fact alone that the majority of educators are women.
Well, I think too, it's neat to see, like you said, Mary, what a teacher, how a teacher looks at things differently as far as lesson plans. Something, that I mean, as a parent, I think of things sometimes, but coming from the education field, them seeing like, oh, I could use it for this. And I would never think of that. Or even like with the contest that Matter Hackers is running in the Envision the Future, I have been racking my brain thinking like, what would be so cool? And then I see these designs, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That's such a neat thing. That's so cool. So I think that's cool too. And also too, showing teachers that it's not as hard as they may think. I mean, like I'll have something at work and I'll have it on my, people are like, oh, where'd you get that? I'm like, oh, I printed it at home. And they just give me this look like, huh? What do you mean you printed it at home? And it's like, no, it's way easier than you think. And I think that's a neat thing to show teachers, as long as they're willing to kind of accept that technology, the changes and things like that. But it's fun.
I agree very much. But you know how usually you see more women teachers instead of men? Well, I think that maybe the woman should be taught by maybe us somehow so that they could do 3D printing classes. I mean, it makes sense. More women should know about it, and there's more women teachers in the world.
It's true, Molly.
So Claire, you didn't say, you being in school, have you kind of reached out within your school or within even just your friends and stuff like that? Are they into 3D printing, or is it something you've kind of branched out and you're just doing it on your own now?
I mean, so I actually, at our school, we have a makerspace. Also, how old do you think I am? Just curious.
Does it matter?
I mean, do you have in high school or do you have in college?
No, I figured you're in college.
Okay. I get anywhere from like 16 to 25. I'm like, I'm 20, so I'm like in between. Yeah. So actually at my school, how I got into 3D printing is at my school, they have a makerspace that opened very recently. And I was like, I want to learn 3D printing. So I went in there. I'm like, hey, can I learn 3D printing? They're like, sure. We don't have anyone right now that like knows about it. So you can figure it out and then you can do whatever you want. I'm like, cool. So I just like spent, a couple days a week there until I learned how to run the printers. And then now they pay me to write curriculum. And I still don't really know what I'm doing.
I actually have been to a maker space like you. I actually went to the mini maker fair in Columbia, and I actually used a soldering iron, and I made like this maker shaped robot with like light up LED lights. It was like actually really fun. I mean, it did get hot with the soldering iron on stuff, but it was actually really fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. Soldering's super fun. No, we have 3D printing and soldering, and then we have a laser machine, and then we have a sewing machine. And so those are like all the things I do.
I want to learn how to sew. I mean, it sounds cool, but I've never actually learned how to sew. I mean, I've tried, but like whatever I'm trying to sew together, it always turns out like lopsided because I'm not good at it.
Before I made 3D printing videos, I used to make like basically sewing tutorial videos. They're kind of the same, basically the same thing, but I stopped because sewing's there's a lot more steps. It takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
I have a question. Has anybody used any of the CNC machines, like the desktop CNCs?
What do you mean?
No, but I would love to.
Same Z's. I was just going to say that. No, but I'd love to.
What was the question?
I'm just curious if anybody has used any of the desktop CNC machines, because we're starting to sell them, and I'm curious as to what people are using them for.
No.
I would love to use one.
How much do they go for?
I think we're going to have one that's around $2,500, $3,000, something like that. And a CNC machine is you use it to, it's kind of like laser cutting wood and laser etching wood. So it still uses G-code, which is why it's related to 3D printing, but it's wood instead of plastic. Active manufacturing instead of additive. but we're talking about maker spaces, and I've seen a lot of school maker spaces and even maker spaces at public libraries, and different types of additive and subtractive manufacturing machines, training the public in.
Do you use cardboard with the CNC machines, or do you have to use wood? Do you know?
Say again?
You can use cardboard, Barb. Yeah, so Travis has, at his work, they have large laser cutters, much larger probably, because Mary, you're talking about something that's more in-home or a desktop type version, I would assume.
Yeah, they're relatively smaller.
But you can use cardboard. I mean, they can cut fabric, paper, especially the smaller desktop style. We've been trying to see about getting something like that to use at home, but anything, and then thinner metals. But cardboard and wood are probably the best things to use on a home version. But it's amazing, and the same thing, the G code that you use. So we've created tons of files. I've made tons of signs for Ari and her friends, and it's definitely a fun technology too. But yeah, we'd love to get our hands on an at-home one because then we could use it a little more accessibly.
Well, I'll keep you posted.
You know, I haven't used it, but I know there is a CNC machine where I go to school, and it's like a giant one though, and they use it to like mill parts in metal and all sorts of crazy stuff. So they're pretty cool.
You guys should go to Open Builds. They have like designs that you can make on your own. So cool. Like you can see, I guess, what I'm trying to explain here, I guess, is like you find a design and you can like do it yourself.
Dan in the chat saying that a CNC mill won't do cardboard, a laser would. I don't know. Depends on, I guess, what the specs are of the machines that you're talking about. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff. Even fidget spinners. There was Jerry from Barnacles was making fidget spinners on his. He has a CNC at home, and he was milling out the wood to make.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we have CNC machines at work, because in the dental technology field, we have 5-axis CNC machines, and you have blanks made out of different materials. It could be wax, acrylic, zirconia, or glass ceramics, and then you can mill out 3-dimensionally. You can mill out crowns and bridges, and then you can work on them and make teeth, crowns, and stuff. That's really awesome.
So what are we gonna? What time, Claire, did you have to go? You said 11 or at 1:45, right?
You did. Yeah, so at 11:45 I have to leave for work. I actually get to go work in a makerspace and talk about 3D printing more with people.
That's cute.
How awesome.
So why don't we could finish up by talking about what's everyone working on?
Oh, why don't you go first, Barb, if you have to leave?
I was actually working on, I wanted to sew the design for this, which wasn't too hard, but I'll be back in a second because I was going to put together a collection of all the things you can make for Mother's Day. So I will be back, and so go to somebody else.
When is Mother's Day?
Next Sunday.
It's next weekend.
Okay.
My dad is actually 3D printing more fidget spinners right now.
I finally did my very first fidget spinner this week. I was, able to hold strong until I saw my 3-year-old's eyes light up when we went to a 3D printing meetup, and he just was in love with fidget spinners. So I made him one. It's nothing too fancy. I just put mirrors in it instead of the weights, just because I had mirrors on my desk. And yeah, he seems to be happy with it. The other thing I'm doing, I'm building up inventory for a craft show the first weekend of June. So, I'm out of cardinals, so I have to print cardinals. I'm almost out of gazebos, so I have to print gazebos. And then it's end of school year, so I got to revive one of my old old designs. One of my second model ever was a little school bus for my mom. So I'm printing up a few of these as wine stoppers for people. So that's my, and then I had a disaster with Brassville. I'm not sure if I'll give up on it yet. Maybe I'll try again, but
Can I ask what your disaster was?
Instant clog. Like I got 3 layers in, boom. And it was, had to get the guitar string out to get it resolved, and then started again, instant clog again. I was printing a smaller object, and I was reading, and it sounds like, if it's smaller and there's a lot of retraction, that maybe things separate inside the nozzle. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to build my confidence back up, and then I'll go back to it.
I asked because I'm going to be testing some bronze fill here in the next couple of months.
I've done lots and lots of bronze fill, and hadn't had any issues. Just sort of the same PL. Yeah, I'm seeing that there's not much information and recommendations for bronze fill.
What design did you do on the fidget spinner? Actually, my dad did a design called Pennywise. I call it Bubbles. But the first one he did was like in carbon fiber, and he put like pennies in it in the end for the weight.
I wish I had a good story about my design. It's just something I whipped up in Blender. I was sort of thinking like old mirror. I mean, I knew I was going to put mirrors in it, so I don't know. It's, just a random pattern I thought looked okay. All I had to do is please my 3-year-old. If you want an amazing fidget spinner design, my reigning favorite, and I've looked through pages and pages and pages of them on Thingiverse, but my reigning favorite is yours, Lauren. I just love the 2 nut sizes to make the Mickey Mouse head. I love it.
Yeah, that's this one's not done, but there you can see there's that one. I also just finished this one, which is may not be able to see that either, but it's got a bow and some buttons. So I'm a Disney, so they have to be Disney related, because why not?
Hey, as a heads up, I saw someone with a 2 Mickey spinner up on Etsy. That was not you.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, so here's a cat food. So these are different things that you can 3D print for your mother for Mother's Day, for things around the kitchen. So this is a cat food can, kind of disgusting cover. Could also use it for tuna fish soups. I have the spoon rest.
That is the best spoon rest ever. I have 2 of them, and everybody should have one.
You don't slop everything off when you're stirring on the stove. A drain. Cool. Actually, this is not my design, but it's just a drain for your garbage disposal, because I kept on losing my forks and my silverware down there. I took one of my flower designs and made a giant flower trivet, because the TPU, you can put hot stuff on it, it doesn't melt. It's got a higher melting temperature. And then here was
cool.
Another trivet design that I did. So,
wow. Cool.
Wait, is it 2D or 3D? I cannot tell because it looks 3D.
This? There.
Yeah. Okay, because it was like illusional, so it looked like it was 3D. Like, it's flexible too, even better.
So I use a technique where I go to it's a free download for photos, and so I go and I find a design that I like with that's black and white, and then I download the photo, and then I go to and then I might edit it in the photo editor, so I have just the black and white design. So that's how I did this design. I found a photo I liked, I downloaded it, made the outside white, this black, and then I went to another website where I was converted into an SVG, and then from the SVG file, I uploaded it into Tinkercad. And then from Tinkercad, you can download it into, you size it and download it into an STL file. So that's how I do a lot of my designs.
I'm very sorry, but I have to leave the chat. I don't want to.
Oh my goodness, what a pity.
I'm going to have to leave as well. But this has been just a delight. Thank you, ladies.
We should do this again because it's fun.
Yeah, we have to do this again. It's so awesome.
Yeah, this was great. So nice to meet everybody.
Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Molly. Goodbye.
Bye, Molly.
Oh, so nice.
On to.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Barb.
everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh, who do we have left?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Five of us.
I'm here.
All
Well,
right.
I'm getting ready to go, but I'm like holding on to every last second that I can.
Well, seriously, this was a whole lot of fun. I think we should try to do it maybe once a month or every couple months to see what things people are up to and kind of keep it going and see how many other ladies we can get involved. Like maybe some of the people who are involved with cosplay would be nice to get a couple of them involved to have kind of just another aspect that people can get into.
Yeah, that would be cool, yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think they were saying in the chat they thought once a month would be good or once every 2 months would be great. Just to kind of see how, like you said, what everyone's up to. Maybe especially too, we talked a lot about getting 3D printing and designing into schools and stuff. So see where we're at with that and how we're able to spread the word.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about doing either an adult ed class here, because those are pretty big here, or also going down to the local library and trying to do a class there. And I would probably live stream it if I did. That way, anybody who can't make it could still watch.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be way cool.
Yeah. I've done some 3D printing and modeling classes for a library system near here. And we do all day classes at a local makerspace, and then they go back to their branches and they start classes for the public. So it's fun. It's fulfilling. It's probably the most fulfilling of all the things that I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm all about it.
Well, thank you, Claire, for setting this whole thing up and suggesting the idea. I think it was genius.
Honestly, when I was like on that first live stream with you and Vicky and some other people, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a lady live stream. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
Yeah,
been a
cool.
lot.
Thank you so much. So I got one question. How do you make the camera switch over to you when you talk? It doesn't happen when I'm on. What do I have to do?
It does that automatically for other people. So like when I'm talking, mine doesn't show up, but when like you're talking, you're on the screen, or if Vicky talks, then she pops up. It's just, it does it automatically, just not you.
Ah, okay. So I don't see myself on screen then when I talk.
Correct.
Okay.
If you go back and watch the recorded live stream, you'll see it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And if Claire wanted to, she can actually click on somebody. Whoever's hosting can click on to the specific person and they would stay on. So like if somebody was trying to show something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did anybody of you ever print a map? You know, from Google Earth? I recently I did that, and it didn't come out so good. I think I didn't use enough infill. Yeah, something like that. I tried to print the Himalaya.
This is one of my first things with wood fill. Don't judge it. I mean, I had some retraction issues where it was starting up, but I love the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth, and this relief map came from Design Make Teach. And so when I first got wood fill, I printed it for myself, and I hang it up, and I could think of the mountains, I could think of the beach, I could think of all the great things Virginia has to offer.
Cool. How much infill did you use on that?
Let's see, I can
Remember?
I'm gonna guess maybe 20 to 30.
Yeah, because on the horizontals, I got some holes, although I used so many top layers and still I had holes and I don't know why.
Well, mine was that it was retracting the wood fill and it wasn't starting wasn't starting right away when it got to the next layer. It was retraction kind of issues.
Yeah, so maybe that was also my issue that I had. I have to try again because it looks really cool.
I want to do that of the Grand Canyon. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Also a cool thing at schools, like teachers would probably love that, to be able to see, to give kids an idea of the physical terrain.
Yeah, and that's Design Bank teaches a great resource for that because he does a lot of educational models for mathematics and for science and celebrating diversity and Latino and African American history. So he really nails models for educational purposes.
I will look up, I used a website where you can locate the area of interest that you want to print, and then you can download the STL files. I'm going to share with you, if you want, the webpage, but I have to find it.
I think
really cool.
Is it terrain to STL? Or I think
yeah. That's cool.
Ari's asking me what she's going to make today. I think she's been inspired.
I don't know.
I'm going to be printing fidget spinners all afternoon. I have 4 orders that need to go out.
That's awesome.
Printing fidget spinners, and I know once I do, all my friends will want one.
I have to say, I mean, it's paid for my LLC, so I'm not going to complain at all. I just did them just for fun, and if it can help the business grow, then that's all that matters. So I can't use one. They distract me. I'm not one of those people who really needs one. So if I go to use it, I end up totally distracted by it.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go so we can get our day started because it's only 10:30 here. So we're just starting our day.
And I'm going to hang up for real. Yeah. So,
yes, me too.
Thank you,
guys.
This
was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.